What's the big question for you out of the weekend?
Are the Blue Baggers flexible enough to play finals?
At all, finals?
Well, to make finals at all. So that's what I'm really concerned about. So we did the game on Saturday night. And I'm really looking at their midfielders, so yeah, across the board. But I sort of wonder, are the Carlton coaches, are they handcuffed with their ability to spin the magnets and move them around? Because they're playing Collingwood this Sunday, okay? We want to compare them against Collingwood's midfield or certainly that supporting cast. You've got Cripps, Kennedy, Hewitt, Walsh, Akers, they are who they are, you know, but they're midfielders that can't really play any other roles. And the reason I think this is because their midfielder that's been going the best the last 3 weeks, Chera, he was forced out onto a half-back flank on the weekend because these guys can't really play anywhere else. Now, Kennedy, they tried at half-back and they brought him in to play on Bontempelli. But there's Chera, and he's he's the only Carlton player in the top 100 players in the competition that has damage with the ball. So there's a rating, your impact when you have the ball in hand.
Midfield group.
They only have one player in the top 100.
From the midfield.
Out of all the players.
Charlie Curnow. We talked about Charlie Curnow last week.
Yeah, from the midfield group. Yeah. So, you know, that's a real concern for me, guys.
Jeez, look at those numbers. That is a massive concern.
It is. It's unbelievable.
And then Doherty's a halfback.
He's
play him halfback.
That's right.
Walsh can come up
in
from
the middle on the weekend
and go wherever he wants. And then you've got Cripps, Hewitt, Kennedy and Chera as your insiders. I think the Carlton have been seduced and fans have been seduced by their best of last year. They've actually tried to evolve, and I think they've lost some of their mojo by trying to evolve. They need to make Collingwood hurt in some way this weekend. They need to make a stand, a physical stand, and it needs to happen inside the contest because that's where their best footy is played.
Well, it really does because you look at the Pies. Pendlebury flicks through there, Crisp there, side-bottom going to be there. De Goey's obviously inside. He can go forward. Dacos. Adams can be forward. Hoskin Elliott can be moved around. They've just got so much flexibility. I look at the Carlton team. They've got none around that middle of the ball. So, yeah, that's a little bit of concern. And you've got players around the ground that you can try and minimise their impact. Sard and McGovern are two of those guys, really, that can, you know, you put the work into those guys. And McGovern, his impact was minimised on the weekend. I thought the Bulldogs were fantastic. I think part of their forward line structure was to limit his impact. He only had one intercept mark, Bucks.
Yeah, the old spine setup that we saw at centre bounces makes you accountable. It makes it very hard to drop off. And McGovern here, probably an opportunity to pop in front there if he's really aggressive with his positioning. But we don't know exactly what they're being coached. But the reality is that, you know, Carlton haven't had an intercept game. Wiedering's a little bit off his tucker. McGovern's not been as consistent as we would have liked.
This is damn.
And this is a breakdown of communication. Now, whether Lobb is McGovern's man or not, Young's the guy behind who needs to be communicating that. And it's a miscommunication. Lobb gets out, but that's in a low scoring game, you can't afford those breakdowns in communication.
No, that was poor.
And what about their forward line stuff? We talked about it a lot last week, particularly the two big fellas. You blokes were both there on the night. What'd you make of it?
Well, I think they've gone away. Last year they used to just get all their tools at 20 metres out from goal and kick to that spot. Tools would compete, Smalls would get to the ground. But this is just first quarter vision. So Charlie Curnow is still 5 metres off pretty much where every one of these exits is. Now, I'm not saying that every ball needs to go to Charlie Curnow, but here's opportunities for him to get to them or to be used. McKay on this instance, now Curnow's off left of screen. Durden makes a little lead. Curnow's in a 2v1 and the ball wasn't actually delivered to his advantage. So it's a bit of both. It's the person delivering inside and it's the person who's prepared to compete and contest and provide that option in the front. What do you reckon some of their midfielders' numbers, ball uses are right down? Because they're just not connecting. And they're not winning contests in front of the ball.
It seems quite random. They tried something after half-time with Lease Goes. Yeah, they sent the big forwards up the ground. They went smaller forwards back. They tried to handball a little bit more. And they did kick 6 in a row, in fairness. But yes, I reckon they're a bit limited.
The key spectacle of the weekend was always going to be Saturday night at Marvel. And it came down to a pressure-packed 6 minutes at the end. It had been an odd game. It was a thrilling second half and it delivered all manner of emotion toward the end.
What a Saturday night at Marvel Stadium.
You know, you hit the front with, 6 or 7 minutes to go in the game. And we weren't able to finish off that last 6 or 7 minutes.
This is the one that counts, and he makes it count. And Carlton are back in front.
Really pleasing, obviously. Some of the guys who haven't played a lot of footy really stood up.
Arnie Jones, he's kicked it! Bulldogs have got plenty of passion as well. It's there. It's straight. It's through.
For us to respond after Carlton hit the lead, it's a different circumstance, and credit to our players, they absolutely did stay composed and worked extremely well together.
Ugle-Hagan for a third in a row for the Western Bulldogs. What a response! They were headed twice by Carlton, but they've come again, and everyone's played their part.
We put ourselves in such a great position, and we weren't able to close out the game exactly like we would want to.
All the headlines were about the Blues during the week, but it's the Western Bulldogs who have stolen the show.
Felt like we walked out of the game with more moments that looked like us.
Hard to take for Michael Voss.
That's a gutsy win.
Meritorious for the Dogs. The Blues didn't get what they needed. 1 goal to half-time. It was combustible. You could feel it pulsating through the telly. There was better stuff in the second half, but they are now out of the 8.
He coached for that game. They defended so much better than what they have, and it was dog ugly. But even at half-time, I was thinking, this is great. They're fighting. They were going one-on-one, dropping occasionally off, but it was one-on-one. You had to earn your kicks. Carlton haven't been making teams earn their kicks for 6 weeks, Jared. And they made them earn their kicks. And when that momentum, I thought they wore the Dogs down. I thought they wore them, and they took the momentum, and then they... What about their ball movement? Everyone's going, wow, have a look at that. They did it off their defence. Anyway, they were $1.10 to win that game with 10 minutes to play. $1.10. I couldn't believe it. So credit to the Dogs, Lever, Artie Jones, for a team to wrestle that momentum back and then go on and win the game was... Oh, seriously, that doesn't happen a lot when you lose momentum like that. But I agree with Michael Voss's post-match press conference. I thought... They were much improved, the Blues, and people were still kicking them to death. I thought that was a bit unfair. They're not a bad team, the Dogs. They're a pretty good team, actually.
Yeah, they're a good team.
And I thought they still got some issues. God, Harry, you know, we've been talking about Harry since round 3. Harry's an $800,000 problem. Okay? I mean, Wiedering's not the player that we've seen Jacob be. He's a gun. You know, so they've got issues, but they brought it together and they got some resolve about them on the weekend. How far that takes them, I don't know. Who are they playing this week?
Collingwood.
They're playing Collingwood. They could do it. Who knows? They nearly did it last year, Jared. They nearly did it last year.
They're in much better form.